So what do you do then if you're constantly seeking these adrenaline spikes and the the risk is kind of like putting you at more risk for more risk, right? So like you're financially strapped, or you're under a lot of stress because you might get caught cheating on your spouse, or because you did get caught cheating on your spouse and now you're having a divorce and now like that's expensive. Um, it's hard sometimes to see how you can dig yourself out of that hole, whether that's a financial hole, an emotional hole, both, because I feel like a lot of times those things kind of do end up going hand in hand. Um, and then a lot of people's answers is A, I'm going to avoid it, and B, I'm going to make more money, and that's going to solve my problems by doing more overtime. And when you do more overtime, now you're exposed to more of those negative stressors or negative adrenaline spikes, and it makes you want to do more of whatever it is that you're doing, right? Um, and so I think it requires a lot of dedication and the commitment to breaking the cycle. Um, that means if you have to, go do an inventory of all the stuff that you've bought, all the toys that you have, and narrow it down to like, hey, like this one thing is going to be my thing, and I can afford to go out and skydive once every 2 months, or riding my motorcycle is really therapeutic. Maybe I don't need four of them in the garage, or maybe I don't need to trade mine in or upgrade or whatever. So I'll keep this one for at least 3 years until it's paid off, or I can pay off some other things, or whatever. So I think it's really important to talk to a therapist about the emotional need for that positive adrenaline spikes and how you can more what's the word I'm looking for? Constructively have those adrenaline spikes and take care of yourself in that way. Um, and you can talk to a financial advisor about, how to maybe consolidate some of your debt so that you don't have your finances spread really thin. Obviously, if you have a spouse, talk to them about it. Also, bring them in on the conversation. Make a plan that works for everybody. You doing overtime 5 days a week is not feasible, and it is not a good idea for your relationship, for yourself, for your mental health. Doing more of the thing that got you to the place where you are isn't going to be helpful. And also, I understand that it's not always a very feasible thing to like, oh, well, like just quit your job and go do something else, right? Like that. I feel like that's like stupid advice to give somebody, or a ridiculous expectation to have of anybody to do. But maybe you start cutting back and you start thinking about like, hey, like when I retire, like what's going to be my alternative, and let's start working in that direction. So I hope that was at least a little bit helpful. I don't like pointing out issues without giving some suggestions for a solution. So feel free to reach out if you have any other ideas or if you need more ideas.